Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina.
Well, I am so excited to be back in the kitchen today, and I'm joined by Chef Melinda. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be back.
Let's jump right on into it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
What do you have for me today?
I have my best seller for you today. Even though with my layer cakes, the red velvet cake with cream cheese icing, it is the all-time best seller when I'm at shows. But for regular family events, it is the butter pound cake, the old-fashioned Southern butter pound cake.
I love a pound cake.
Yes, so I couldn't understand why I wouldn't be making very elaborate desserts, and people would be sitting there, you know, conversating, and then they would say, "What are you baking today?" And I'm like, "Just a vanilla pound cake." But that would be the sensation for them, is the smell of that butter pound cake, and bringing back old-fashioned memories, I think is another reason why they just loved it.
It's just gorgeous.
So I made this last night, and I made sure that it was in servable sizes so that it can hold whatever your topping is. So you don't want to cut it thin when you're going to put some really good stuff on it. So I'm going to serve up the first piece, and this is so versatile. You can serve it with any fruit topping that you would like, any ice cream, Cool Whip, but I'm going to do two things. I'm going to put fresh strawberries and some Cool Whip on them. So I'm going to take my little
We've
utensils.
got some cute tongs. Yes. We've got some cute little forks. She came prepared.
Love, love, love to serve, love to entertain. I think that's where my love of baking comes from, is loving to see the look on people's faces when they taste it for the first time. So here,
it's a love language, you know, like acts of service. I think that kind of falls into cooking.
It really does.
Maybe little gifts too.
Yes, yes. These are perfect gifts. When I was a teenager, and my budget was very limited, this was my best seller. Was to put these in beautiful little cellophane bags and twist ties, you know, with whatever occasion it was, whether it was Valentine's Day or Christmas.
It's perfect for that.
Perfect. So as you can see, they
those are some gorgeous.
Are gorgeous. I was like, oh my goodness, this late in the season.
I know too.
Yes, I was so glad to be able to get these. So I'm going to put the first one together. We're going to get our Ready Whip together here. Normally,
not sponsored, but sponsored by Ready Whip.
Yes. So normally I would make this homemade. My children have gotten so spoiled once I realized that you can make this homemade, and it's so much better.
Of course.
She's addicted to it, I must say. Any dessert that has the homemade whipped topping in it,
it's so good.
she's like, excuse me, may I have? Mom, please, can you save me some? So here is the very first bite for you.
Here's the verdict.
Yes. Wait to see what you think.
I want to get a little bit of everything in this bite, so.
It's delicious. Even for breakfast.
That's money right there.
I'm just going to serve
You know how to make a pound cake, I'll tell you that.
Thank you so much.
My goodness.
Like I said, since I was 9, you know, just all of a sudden one day they asked me to make the family birthday cake from a box. And everybody would say, oh my gosh, this can't be from a box. Absolutely, it's not. And I was like, it is though. And they said, well, what's the secret? I'm like, I don't know. I just go by the box. But they were like, no, you're doing something different.
Yeah, you just have a gift, I guess.
It was just the gift coming forth.
Yeah.
And so from there, you know, just a little bit more. From there, of course, the question was, how are you going to start making homemade? And what are you going to make? And so that's where the challenges came in.
Oh, yeah.
So they just start challenging me, and I just kept going.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Grab your smocks, everyone, because today we're hanging out with Natalie at Myrtle Beach Art Museum's Pottery Studio.
So I'm just pressing it, and I'm using my body weight to press on my hands. I'm not using my hand strength so much. Nice and steady while you're doing it. And that's hard, but you'll notice that I'm always bracing one hand with my other hand, and I almost always have my elbows on my legs to stabilize them.
Natalie is the Pottery Studio manager and instructor, helping new and seasoned potters hone their skills.
What is the most difficult vessel to make?
There's a couple that are pretty hard to make. Bottles seem to give people a hard time. Big, wide bowls, because they want to fall down. You know, if you get too much water on them, they fall down. If you pull them out too fast, they fall down. But the smaller bowls are easier to manage.
With more than 20 years of experience, she makes the craft look effortless.
All right, so I'm going to do what's called pulling up, and I do this at a much slower rate. And I'm just gonna push on the bottom here to push that clay up to the top.
Have you guessed what she's making yet?
And then I'll do some collaring. And collaring is another way of bringing the neck in. So I'm just going to take my hands on the outside and give it some pressure here. That's going to make the clay go up. It's going to make it thicker right where I'm pressing, and it's going to bring that center in.
After a few tweaks, voila, it's a beautiful vase.
I can't believe I got to do this today. I've
I'm
wanted
so
to do
excited.
This for so long.
That's
You have no
wonderful.
idea. This is so
Oh,
cool.
I'm so glad you like it.
If you're interested in hanging out with Natalie as well, check out her classes and join the wait list at myrtlebeachartmuseum.org.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Living Local Carolina. My goodness, this is my office for today. I'm out here with Coach Goody. What's up? How are you?
You are in my world, yeah. Doesn't it feel awesome? Check it out. What a day. We're gonna play some volleyball in the sand, a little beach volleyball. Are you ready?
I am kind of ready. Let's first talk about what you do and how you got all of these volleyball courts.
Yeah, so super exciting. It was 2013, and my daughter, she was like 13 years old, and she was playing indoor volleyball, club volleyball, and she's like, I played beach, and she always would watch Dad go off and play in these tournaments and stuff. I'm just like, Dad, I want to learn to play beach volleyball. Can you teach me? And I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Let's do it. And I said, well, we had 3 courts down here at the time. And I was like, well, why don't we get your teammates, see if anyone else wants to come? And we started a little club, and we had like 20 kids, and we did a couple months of training, and that's how it started.
And it's grown to be pretty darn big now.
It has. It slowly grew, and really COVID, surprisingly, is what helped it grow, because there wasn't a lot of things going on, but we were allowed to do beach volleyball, and I was kind of one of the first sports that kind of went back out and got the kids going. It was a little scary at first, but once everyone got out there, it was so exciting, and it just blew up. And the tournaments, we had more and more people coming here for the tournaments, and since then it's really grown more and more. So
I
it's
love
exciting.
it. And you were saying that this is the kind of sport that's for everybody, you know, all levels, all ages.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, because I mean, everybody kind of, oh yeah, I love volleyball. You know, they remember in PE playing, and maybe they had 4 on one side, or maybe they had 8, right? So it just kind of depends where you're at, whether you're out at a family picnic or whether you're a professional playing 2-on-2. You know, whether you have 10 on one side and 10 on the other, or 2-on-2. So there's a lot of flexibility, and people just want to play and have a good time. Yeah. So it's fun.
Love it. So for people that might be watching this right now and are interested in playing a game or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, how can they do that? Can they get in contact with you?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the deal?
Yeah, so my website is I have two different, you have grandstrandsand.com, so they can reach out there. And then really, you just come out here. These courts are free to use to the public, so just come out and play. You know, you need a ball, you know, call some friends and get out here and get out and play.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
This story is sponsored by Little River Medical Center. Well, today we are talking about stress, and I'm joined by Lindsay. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Talk to me a little bit about what you do here at Little River Medical Center.
Sure. I am a behavioral health counselor. I work in a primary care setting. We utilize the integrated approach, the integrated model of care, and I get to see so many patients I otherwise wouldn't be able to see.
Love that. So when we're talking about stress, I feel like a lot of people hear that word and we think, oh, well, I'm always going to be stressed. There's nothing I can do about it. You know, you come in.
Well, that's why I have a job.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, for most of us, we are always going to live with stress. If we're married, if we have kids, if we have a job, yeah, there is some level of stress. But there are different things we can do to minimize the impacts on our emotions, our physical health, and our overall quality of life.
Well, let's first talk about some of the warning signs that we should be looking out for if we are getting a little too stressed.
Difficulty maintaining relationships, you're cranky, you're irritable, you're not sleeping, you're not eating well, just that overall feeling of unwell.
Yeah, things just don't feel the same.
No, things just kind of take over in a negative way.
All right, so what can you do about it if you start to feel that way?
The first thing you should do is acknowledge that stress. What can I do to minimize this source of stress or make it go away completely? And if that is not at all possible, then that's where coping skills, that breathing techniques, calming techniques, grounding skills, mindfulness, exercise, paying attention to your lifestyle choices, all of that plays a part.
We all don't want to think about the fact that if we were to exercise a little more, sleep more, eat a little better, that we probably would feel a little better.
Absolutely, but let me ask you, in this crazy, busy life we all lead at this point, how easy is it to do all of those things every day?
For me, I'm going to be honest, it's extremely difficult. And I almost feel sometimes that it's too difficult. And I don't know if other people feel that way.
I'm sure we all feel that way. I feel that way. Yeah, so if we can just find one thing to slowly change, you may not be able to work out for an hour every day, but if you spend 15 minutes walking while listening to your favorite music or an audiobook, that's some self-care and exercise right there.
All right, let's talk about this. Obviously, with what you do, you are an advocate for people seeking counseling. But for somebody that has never gotten mental health counseling before, that can kind of be a big jump for them to make. What would you say to somebody who is considering it but not quite sure if they're ready yet?
That's a really good question. It is not what you see on Frasier.
That's a good point.
And it's okay if you come to a session, meet a therapist, and decide it's not for you, meaning you're not clicking with the therapist. This is an intimate relationship. You have to jive, you have to vibe well. And if a clinician is worth their salt, they're not going to be offended. So come in, meet someone, see how you feel, test the waters. If it doesn't work out, try someone else. But I'm willing to bet after 20 minutes, you're gonna forget how uncomfortable and nervous you are.
If somebody is kind of interested in taking that leap, what does that look like here at Little River?
So you can call and make an appointment. We do accept self-referrals, but I'm gonna let you know we are going to advocate for you to establish care with a medical provider simply because we think it is incredibly important to bring all of the things together. So to bring all of the things together, your physical health, and how we can help you achieve those goals, such as reducing your blood pressure or improving the diabetic symptoms you're experiencing, things like that, because it all plays a part in one another.
Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. How to use the QR code. Just open the camera app on your smartphone, iPad, or tablet. Point your device at the QR code so the QR code appears on your screen. Your device will recognize the QR code and show you a notification. Click that notification and you'll come to our website. Living Local Carolina, weekday mornings at 9:30 on WBTW News 13.